All right. We are going to do a quick test run of the Marvel Multiverse RPG and see how they handle combat and a few other things. We'll do Baron Zemo as the villain versus Black Widow. Got my little Marvel Crisis Protocol models out. So Black Widow has 60 health, 90 focus. Baron Zemo has 90 health, 60 focus. And we'll just start by saying that Baron Zemo is hiding out in this warehouse, and Black Widow is going to sneak in and infiltrate. And then we'll get into some combat here shortly. So we'll just pretend Black Widow comes in secretly. She tries to use her stealth and climbs up on top of one of these warehouse crates to get eyes on Baron Zemo. And what happens in this game when you are sneaking, the other character, so the villain will roll to see if he sees her. And that's going to be a vigilance check against her agility. I believe that is the case. So he is going to roll his 3 dice. And let's see, when she's sneaking, she causes trouble on vigilance checks. So her vigilance is 13. So he gets to roll his vigilance, and he needs to beat a 13. He just gets a +1 to that. So let's see if Zemo sees her. That is 9, 13, 14, 15. So he does see her. She does not get to sneak attack. And that means that we would then enter initiative. So Baron Zemo's initiative is 1E, so he gets a +1, and he has an edge because he's got situational awareness. So Zemo is gonna roll. He's got 4, 5, 6, 7. He wants to try to go in the surprise round, so he'll use his edge to re-roll the Marvel die. All right, so he got 6, 7, 8, 9. So he gets a 9 +1, so he'll have a 10 initiative. And then Black Widow, she gets +3 to her modifier. So 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 +3 is 13. So Black Widow will go first. So the first thing she's gonna do on your turn, you get a standard action, a move action, and any number of reactions. Typically, it's 1. Black Widow has just 1 reaction. So on her first turn, she's not going to move. She has a power called sniping that she can use for a standard action and a move action, but she has to be 20 spaces away. Okay, so we'll say that she can barely see him off in the distance, 20 spaces away, and she will make an agility check because it's a ranged attack. So her agility is 4. She'll be adding +4 to her roll. And to hit Baron Zemo, his agility defense is a 13. Right, so 11, 12, and she gets +4. So that's a hit on Baron Zemo. It's a regular hit. If she had rolled a fantastic success, she would have done triple damage. But since she didn't, and to be honest, I should not have moved this die. Now I don't know what the damage was going to be. So we'll just say the damage was going to be 6 times 3, which is 18, +4, 19, 20. So 22 damage. She uses her Widow's Bite electric armbands for 22 damage on Baron Zemo. So he goes down from 90. He's got 68 health. So he yells out in pain. That ends her turn. Baron Zemo is then going to move towards her. Well, actually, we'll take that back a little bit because Baron Zemo has two reactions. So technically, on his turn, when she issued an attack against him, he can use his suppressive fire. So he gets to roll an attack versus the vigilance, and it will do focus damage. So let's see. She would declare her attack. That triggers his first reaction. He's going to do suppressive fire. Her vigilance is 13. Ranged attack versus vigilance 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. And he gets +4. No, I'm sorry. He doesn't get +4. +3. 11, 12, 13, 14 versus her vigilance, which is 13. So that's a hit. So she's going to take focus damage. So we would take this 5 by his attack. So 5 times 5 is 25, 26, 27, 28 damage to her focus. So she has a focus of 90. And it's 28. So that leaves us her with 62 focus. Okay. So typically what would have happened, she would have shot, she would have declared her attack. He would have used his reaction to do suppressive fire back at her. She would have rolled the hit for her initial sniping shot. And then now we are back to Baron Zemo. So you'll see as you kind of go through the combat steps, it's a little bit more detailed. It's a little bit more complex than you would think from initially looking. So on Baron Zemo's turn, he has a movement of 5, so he can move 5 spaces. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. He tries to get closer. He sees her up on the ledge, and then he's going to use his snap shooting attack. So snap shooting is going to be against her agility. Her agility defense is 14. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And Black Widow has an ability that gives trouble on the attack called Counter-Strike Technique. Or actually, it's unflappable attacks. Nope, that's not it. Slow motion dodge. Yeah, enemy has trouble on attacks against agility. So basically, she'd use her slow motion dodge. He already missed, but whenever you have trouble, you have to re-roll the highest die, and then you take the lowest of the two. So he'd be re-rolling this 4, and he would roll this, so it'd be the 1. If he had rolled higher on the re-roll, he would have still had to use the lowest value. So he misses. So he did his move. He did his action. It goes back to Black Widow. She doesn't have any reactions prior to that attack that she would have been able to use on him. She knows that now sniping, he's within 20. So sniping is no longer an option. She can run 5. She'll hop down over here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And start heading towards him. Now she could use a standard action again to move and get closer, but she's not going to do that. Instead, she will snapshot at him versus his agility. So his agility defense is 13. Let's see if she hits. She's got 10, 11, 12, +4 for her ranged attack. So that's 16, which is a hit. 4 damage. Or 4 times 5, which is 20, +3. So 23 more damage to Baron Zemo. So he's down to 45 life. But once again, he has his reaction because it's a new turn. So I'm doing this a little bit out of order, but we'll see how it goes. So he again can use his suppressive fire as a reaction to fire back versus her vigilance. Yeah, it's return fire actually, not suppressive fire. Return fire. Enemy declares an attack. Roll versus vigilance. And we do focus damage. He gets a crit on the Marvel die. He does focus damage and stuns. So he would react and return fire. So he's going to get a, for his agility, +3. Suppressive fire. 6, 4, and 2. And this is an attack against the vigilance. And due to her unflappable poise, no, due to her slow motion dodge. Nope, this is against vigilance, so she can't use slow motion dodge. So there is no trouble on the attack. So that's a hit, and 6 damage times 5 is 30. So 33 more damage to her focus. So Black Widow's focus goes down by 33. We'll take it down to 29, I think. And if she runs out of focus, she'll have trouble on all her attacks. So even though he hasn't done any damage to her, whittling down that focus could be bad. All right. So again, she attacked. And forgive me for the playthrough. Technically, initially, when she first attacks, that's when he should declare the reaction. I'm doing that a bit out of order, but we'll see. We'll see as the playthrough continues. So now it is back to Baron Zemo's turn. She moved, attacked, he reacted. His run speed is 5, so he's really going to try to close the distance on her. 3, 4, 5. Try to get as close as possible. And then he's going to go with Snapshot again. It's an attack versus agility. So she'll roll these dice. He's going to have trouble because of her slow motion dodge. Okay, so he has trouble, so he's going to re-roll the highest die. All right, so he'll keep that 5. That's 13. And he gets a +3, which is 16, which is enough to hit her. So that's a normal hit. And since he's doing snap shooting, it's only going to be for half damage. So he's basically firing from the hip. So half damage, that's going to be 5 times 5 is 25. So 28, half of that is 14 damage to Black Widow. So she's going to go from 60 down to 46. That's going to wrap up his turn. Now, Black Widow knows that every time she tries to fire at him, he's been reacting with a suppressive fire. So she's going to want to get close. Now, she does have attack stance. She has defensive stance. She doesn't really have anything that's necessarily she doesn't have a power that's close range attack. So I think what she's going to do is she is going to do weapons blazing. And she's going to try to hit him with that. It'll do half damage, but if she gets a critical, she can attack again. So she's going to fire her wristbands. Let's see, 9, 10, 11, 12. +4 is 16. That's enough to hit him. It's going to be half damage. So 5 times 3 is 15, +4 is 19. We'll round that down to 9 damage on Zemo. So he will go from 45 to 36. And he's looking pretty ragged. And she doesn't really want to get into a melee with him. So she'll move back a little bit. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and duck behind there. Okay, then it's back to Zemo. Oh, but again, the thing that I just mentioned, when she does that attack, he could return fire with his reaction. So he would have done another suppressive fire, which meant that I probably should not have attacked him, but I did anyways. So we'll say before she moves around that corner, he does that suppressive fire against her vigilance. He got a fantastic success. And when you get a fantastic success with that return fire skill, I believe they are stunned. Let's see. Enemy declares an attack versus vigilant. Hit does focus damage. Crit does double focus and stuns. So she would be right here. So she's shot. He got the Marvel die that's double damage. So 6 times 5 is 30. 33 damage, 66. And that 66 damage would get rid of her focus. And then she is stunned. And I believe she is also demoralized because her focus is 0. So she will have trouble on all her rolls going forward. When you're stunned, you lose an action. So technically, when she shot, that 9 damage that she did to him would not have happened. So we're going to erase that. We're going to put Baron Zemo back up to 45 life. And she's stunned. So she would have shot, got stunned, and lost the rest of her turn. She wouldn't have even been able to roll the stun, which means it would be better for her to attack him in melee once she takes a couple of those suppressive fires. But either way, that's his first reaction. Now the turn would move over to Zemo, who would then close in for the kill, get into melee range, pulls his sword out, and he has let's see, exploit, fast attacks, vicious attack. Okay, so he's gonna go with a vicious attack against Black Widow, who is stunned. Her melee defense is 12. So that is not a good roll. 7, 8, 9 plus 2. So he got a total of 11. And he doesn't have any way to get an edge or anything like that. Okay, so he does not. Okay. Then we go back over to Black Widow. So the stun will wear off. It's the top of the next round. She knows that she doesn't want to shoot him anymore. So instead, she's just going to do a basic attack. So her basic melee attack is going to be +2. She needs a 12 to hit him. So yeah, that's definitely a hit. Now let's see, does Baron Zemo have any reactions when it comes to melee? I am not seeing anything right now. This has return fire. Yep. So he is going to take that damage. So a 5 times her melee multiplier. So 5 times 3 is 15 plus 2, 17 damage. That's going to take him from 45 down to 35, down to, I believe that's 28. Please excuse the math. So they're both looking pretty rough. Black Widow is stunned and demoralized. Oh, I forgot. She's no longer stunned, but because of the demoralized, she has trouble on her roll. So we would re-roll. Let's see. Guess we'll re-roll the 6. We'll make her re-roll the 6. 3, 6, 5 is 11. Plus 2 is 13. Okay, so that's still a hit, even with trouble. She still would have hit him. And then she'll just stay right there. Doesn't think she can get away. Zemo is going to go ahead and take his turn to attack with another vicious attack. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Plus 2 is 12. Her melee defense is 12. So he only rolled a 2 on the Marvel die. So 2 times 3 is 6. Plus 2 is 8. So 8 more damage to Black Widow. That's going to take her down to 38. Now, Black Widow really needs to see if she can figure out a way to try to get rid of Zemo. So again, she could double her melee ability bonus to damage if she did attack stance. She has counter strike whenever she takes damage with attack stance, deal half the damage back to the attacker. That costs 5 focus for her to use. Could take defensive stance. Okay, so I think even though she doesn't want to, I think she's going to use defensive stance and go into a defensive stance with her standard action. So all close attacks have trouble. And because of her unflappable poise, all close attacks will have double trouble. So she's going to take a defensive stance. Stay there. Baron Zemo is going to notice that. He's going to move, take a step back to be 2 spaces away, and then he's going to pull out his gun and fire using double tap within 2 spaces. Regular damage on hit, crit is double, and bleed. So he's going to try to do double tap, ranged attack on her. All right, that's 5, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. And it is going to be in defensive stance. All close attacks have trouble. Let's see. Because of her unflappable poise, there is trouble. So he'll re-roll the 5. Okay, so that's the Marvel dice, which means he has to keep the 5 because that's the lowest with trouble. So 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. And he gets plus 3, 12, 13, 14. Black Widow's agility defense is exactly 14. She has slow motion dodge, so the enemy has trouble against attack. So that's another trouble he'll have to roll. Nope. So he still hits a 6, but he still takes the 5. So he still hits. So the double tap hits. It's going to be 5 times 5, which is 25 plus 3, 28 more damage to Black Widow. So even in her defensive stance, she is now down to 10 life. So heroes don't flee. This is going to be her last chance to do 28 damage to Baron Zemo. He doesn't have any focus. She could try to recover. Still, she's in defensive stance. I think what she's going to do. Let's see. Defensive stance. Yeah, I think she's going to step back one last time. She's going to do weapons blazing. And if she gets a crit, she can attack again. So weapons blazing on Zemo. Right, so she got 11, 12, plus 4 is 16, and it's a critical success, so a fantastic success, as they say. So with that fantastic success, her Widow's Bite, Wrist Rocket, Shootout, That's gonna do 6 times 3, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22 damage to him. Emo has 2 life left. But with her weapon's blazing power on a crit, she can do a second attack. So she can attack again. And with the second attack, she'll fire her other wrist rockets. 5, 6, 7, 8. I don't think that's enough. 8 plus 4, 9, 10, 11, 12. Zemo's agility is 13. So he dodges the second rocket just in the nick of time. And I would imagine technically he should have used his suppressive fire as his reaction for this round, which really makes it bad. So he would attack her vigilant and potentially stun her again. 10, 13, and she only gets defensive stats is only against close attacks. Unflappable poise is close attacks. Slow motion dodge, that's only against agility. Yeah, that return fire targets vigilance. She doesn't really have a defense against that. So she would take another 25, 26, 27, 28, 28 damage to her focus. So now she's in the hole. Now it's like negative 28. She would be stunned again, which means she couldn't, he would have got this 28 back and she wouldn't have been able to shoot. So she's stunned off his reaction. And then he would just snapshot and fire again because it seems like it's better for him to not be in close combat with her because she has a lot of defensive abilities in close combat. So he would snap shoot using his ranged +3 to the roll. And then he gets one trouble because of slow motion dodge. We reroll the 6. Okay, so 4, 9, 10, 11, 12. +3, 13, 14, 15. That's still enough. And 4 times 5 is 20. So 23 damage. That takes Black Widow down to negative 13. She is unconscious. Now, Black Widow also has karma. And I believe she has 3 karma. So on his turn, she's unconscious. He thinks the job is done. He slowly starts walking away. And what the heroes can do is they can use karma to recover. So at the end of the turn, she is going to spend a point of karma. And I'll just try to find the karma rules real quick. Hopefully I can find it pretty quickly to recover. Okay, character is shattered. While I'm here, let's see what demoralized is. Fantastic damage, knockback, bonus round, reactions. Let's see. Yeah, so definitely a lot more detail than I was expecting. You really have to kind of remember what the character's reactions are. And I'd imagine if I was just running the game and not trying to control both characters, it would be easier to just focus on the abilities of, my villains or um whoever the characters were interacting with. But you would almost need to have a cheat sheet that lists all the reactions and the different triggers Okay, recovery. Character wants to recover, they can spend a point of karma to make that happen instantly. Make a resilience check to recover health. Target number is 10. The roll fails, nothing is recovered. On a success, total up the number normally and multiply it by the character's rank. Okay, just like you would with the damage roll. Okay. Total up the number normally and multiply it by the character's rank. Okay, let's see. Okay. So she needs to beat a 10. So she's going to spend a point of karma. She has to beat a 10. And let's see if she beats a 10. Then we'll add up the dice, multiply it by her rank of 3. And that's how much life she has back. Right. So she beat the 10. So 10, 14. Wow. And you kind of got to do some math here. 14 times 3. What is that? 42. So she would get 42 life back. She was negative 13. That would be 32, 29. And then if I got the math wrong, just forgive me on that one because I'm trying to do that on the fly. All right, so she used her turn. She gets 29 health back to try to recover. And then she's going to try to get up and try to sneak away from Baron Zemo. So when she gets up, Baron Zemo can make a vigilance check to see if he notices her sneaking. Since she is sneaky, he's going to have trouble on the roll. So he's going to do another vigilance versus her agility. So his vigilance is he just gets a +1 to this roll. +1, I think, is versus her vigilance. Just 13. Okay, and then he has trouble because she's sneaky. That's 10, 11, +1 is 12. So he doesn't notice her getting up. So he still continues to go about his business to do his evil plans. Black Widow will perch back up on top of the warehouse crate and she'll try to line up one last shot. No, that's a bad idea because he can react to that. That is a bad idea. Instead, no matter what, she can't get close. She needs to try to get close and do like a double move. So she'll move 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then she will use her standard action to also move 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and kind of duck behind this crate. We'll assume we're out of initiative. He can't see her, and then the next turn, he thinks she's dead. She'll run up here 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and can't quite get close enough to attack him without taking another shot. And as far as I can tell, the reaction for his return fire, and I'll just look that up. He gets 2 reactions because he has a special ability called what's his special ability? Combat Expert. So he gets +1 reaction for his trait. Return fire. Ranged weapon, reaction, an enemy declares an attack against the character. It does cost 5 focus. Makes an agility attack against the target's vigilance. Apply health damage. Any damage taken is applied to the focus. Okay. Yeah. Yeah, he does get to do that. Now, the one mistake I have been making, I mean, I'm sure I've made more than one mistake, but either way, we'll just pretend. That does cost 5 focus per use. So he's probably used it 3 or 4 times. So we'll just take him from 60 down to 40. So she would declare an attack on him. She's going to try to do a snapshot on him because she can't get close enough to attack him any other way. He's going to do his suppressing fire reaction. So he will go down to 35 focus, and then the only thing I could look up is would that be would this be a does this occur after the shot or before? So basically the way it sounds like it says when they declare an attack. So that to me means they're just saying they're going to attack and then he returns fire. It doesn't say resolve. I would have to look for something that has a trigger that says after the attack. But for now, I see another reaction in here that says the character is attacked. So I'm assuming this return fire is before that. Trigger, the target is grabbed. Enemy is grabbed. Yep. Yeah, it seems like there are items that trigger somebody is demoralized or stunned. So it seems like if it would trigger when they were attacked, then it would say attack and not declare. Let me see. What's another one? I think defensive stance is one that she has. Let's see what defensive stance, any close attacks made against the character. Slow motion dodge. Let's see if slow motion dodge says declare or if it says after an attack. Okay, slow motion dodge. An enemy makes an attack against the character's agility. Yeah, so the other ones say make an attack. This one says declare. So he should be able to spend 5 focus and do return fire. His agility versus her vigilance. Oh, he rolled bad. 4, 5, 6, 7. And he doesn't get trouble on that because it's against the vigilance. You just make sure she's got slow motion dodge. Yep, against agility. Yep. So his return fire misses. So she sneaks on him. He's startled. He returns fire. She ducks under it. And then she goes with her weapons blazing attack. And let me make sure that weapons blazing. Yeah, it does not have a cost. Or snap shooting. Yeah, she'll do weapons blazing. Hit him with the Widow's Bite gauntlet guns. And let's see if she can hit him. That's 9, 10, 11 plus 4 is 15. That is a hit. And then she'll do 2 damage. 2 times 3 is 6 plus 4 is 10 damage. And remember, he got some health back because we suppressed return fire at her. So that's 18. So he's still not down. I mean, his armor is absorbing all these shots from her. She can't seem to get a good hit in on him. And then he's going to go ahead and take a shot at her. Going to try to double tap and put her down again. So versus agility. He's within 2 spaces to use double tap. She lost her defensive dice. That's another fantastic success. He does have trouble on the attack. So 3, 6, 7, 8. So that will miss. Black Widow will close the distance because she doesn't want him to return fire. And even though she doesn't have any powers, she'll go ahead and do a basic attack on him. It's +2 to the roll. 8, 9, 10 plus 2 is 12. So she does hit him right across the jaw. The melee attack, 3 times 3 is 9 plus 2, 11 damage. That takes him down to at 18 life minus 11. So he's got 7 now. He's going to go ahead and attack Black Widow in short range or close combat, as they say. He's going to use his fast attacks, and that's going to be melee. That's a fantastic success. Let's see. Enemy has trouble on attacks against agility, so slow motion dodge does not apply. She lost her defensive stats when she got stunned. She does have Counter Strike technique. Takes damage with an attack stance, does half the damage back to the enemy. So she could react, but that costs 5 focus, and she doesn't have any more focus. So she can't use Counter Strike technique. Let's see. She can use Unflappable Poise, which will give trouble. So because of Unflappable Poise, he'll have trouble and reroll this. So 5, 9, 10, 11. And his melee is +2. That's 12, 13. Her melee defense is 12. That means the hit goes through as he pierces her with the blade. And then that's going to be 5 times 3 is 15. +2, 17 damage to Black Widow. She goes from 29 life. I got a glare on there. 17, 10, let's see, 1, 7, 2. So down to 12. 12 life. And then she'll attack him with another close combat attack. 11, 12, 13, 14. You got a 6. 6 times 3 is 18, +2 is 20. And then after all that, she'll finally knock out Baron Zemo. Woo, okay. That was a little bit more than what I anticipated. But that is sample combat for Marvel Multiverse RPG. I'm sure I probably did a bunch of stuff wrong, so I'll have to take a look at this. But hopefully that kind of gives you an idea of how a combat would go. Thanks for viewing. Feel free to like and subscribe, and have a good day.